Hey guys, today we'll be working on the grow tabletops, cutting and putting the plastic liner in it, and hopefully getting the foam top done so I can put the little baskets in for my deep water culture or Kratky system, whatever I decide to do in there. It's a little breezy, so I'm trying to stand out of the wind right now. So you guys can hear me. Well, that's the plan for today, so if you want to follow along, we'll go knock this out. It is cold. The wind's blowing and it is freezing. Much better. Much better. What is it? It's only 60 in here. This is the Hydroponic Experiment going on in here. This side I'm using the Kratky method, which is basically a deep water reservoir with no oxygen supplemented. And on this side, the classic deep water culture with its deep water reservoir and supplemental oxygen. I got a bubbler in there with an air stone making tons of bubbles. So we'll see what these do, but it's getting chilly. I don't know if my basil will stand a chance. So I was going to do this outside because I didn't want a bunch of sawdust in my greenhouse, but that wind is awful right now. So I'm going to just have to sweep the greenhouse. Alexa, what's the wind?
Currently, it's very windy at 25.3 miles per hour. Today, expect moderate winds around 18.4 miles per hour.
That's moderate. Okay, let me speed this up so it's not too boring. Set my saw so that I cut 6-inch strips out of this half-inch OSB. These half-inch strips of OSB are going to be the sides for my tables. You see the tables in the background. I built them out of scrap material I had laying around, so they didn't really cost me anything. I cut them to length and then used sheetrock screws to screw them to my tabletop. So the tabletop you see there is some hollow core closet doors I got from a client of mine. They're not real complicated. I was concerned that the closet doors wouldn't be thick enough to hold the weight of the water, but they turned out to work out okay. You see, screw on 4 sides. Spin it around. They're not screwed to the tabletop, to the table themselves at this time. I may do that later. All right. So I'm filling the plastic right now. I've secured this edge because the plastic's going to pull tight and I don't want it out so the plastic doesn't fall in. But this is where we are. This will be my deep water culture for my lettuce and cilantro and bok choy and anything else that works well with deep water culture, or actually it'll be a Kratky system. So now I'm putting my foam on, cutting holes in it. Actually I put the foam on already. I've cut the foam to fit, and I'm using this piece as a template because I marked it out. So these are all 5 inches off each other. Give me plenty of space to grow. And I'll just set up the tripod so you can see what I'm doing. And now I just use my little hole saw and I cut these out to the appropriate size of my net pipes. I'll do this again and again, using this piece as a template so they all match. Pretty quick process. Alright guys, so I've got everything in. I've got my net cups in, my foam. I've got some starts going. I've got my master blend mix in here, and we're getting going. So here's a curious thing. I wasn't sure which I would go with, whether I'd go with the Oasis cubes, blocks, Oasis, whatever you call it, and the rockwool. I can get the rockwool relatively cheaper than I can the Oasis cubes, but then I decided what I'd try a head-to-head comparison here. So look at this rockwool. How tall these guys are. Now these were all planted the same day, same light, same everything. They were all grown in just water. There's no solution in the tubs whatsoever, just water, just to get them sprouted. And you see this bok choy. It's tall and lanky, thicker. It's already got its secondary leaves starting. Then we look over here at this bok choy in the Oasis cubes. How much smaller that is in comparison. These are beasts, right? These are big old monsters. Bok choy and little tiny guys. Right over here, the red kale, taller, and these red kale aren't even red. Now I don't understand why, because they're supposed to be both neutral mediums. Maybe somebody could enlighten me. But for me right now, looking at it, the rockwool is cheaper. Yeah, they're leggy because I didn't have them under light to start with. So they're all kind of leggy and kind of breaking over. They weren't under fans. Should have had fans on them. But this is just a curious thing to me. Maybe somebody can enlighten me on why the rockwool just seemed to excel over the Oasis cubes.